piper, and my flute friends everywhere, and welcome to another Treasure Tuesday. I'm Sharon Sparrow, the assistant principal flutist of the Detroit Symphony, and today's treasure is the beautiful umerei from Musical Treasures Volume 3. Umerei, often translated as dreaming, is from the set of 13 solo piano pieces, Kinderschienen, or Scenes from Childhood, by the wonderful composer Robert Schumann. This is an otherwise simple melody, but it's full of so much innocence and beauty. I'm so happy to be able to share some tips with you that may be helpful when you perform this piece. And as always, your friends at Muramatsu and Little Piper have provided for you the music to download and that all-important accompaniment track so you won't need to perform alone. One thing you will need for this is a tone that matches in pitch and in timbre as you switch registers on the flute. I practice this by practicing arpeggios. And just like a snowman, you will need the fullest, roundest, biggest sound on the bottom, on the low register. And then you want to transfer that sound as you go up in register on the flute. Flutes can sometimes sound top-heavy, so make sure not to get real bright or more shrill as you go up. That way your snowman is going to topple over. I also use harmonics to practice this, and I can make so many different harmonics off of my low C and then try to match that sound to my real sound. Let me show you. I want to make sure I can always hear that sound of the low C in all those notes as I travel up in registers. And as always, I have my tuner sitting right on my stand to help me with that. My next tip involves the repeated notes. For example, look at measure 2 with me and you'll see 2 G's right next to each other. Now, in order to hear the sound of that second G, I like to do a teeny tiny little lift or a space right in between the 2 G's. And that way the start of the note has more clarity. Now that was kind of a big lift. Normally I just do a teeny little space. But if I don't lift and just use my tongue, it's somewhat unclear. Let's look, it comes again in measure 6. Can you tell? That time I just tongued it and it almost sounded tied. Now I'll provide that little lift. That makes the start of that repeated note, the second B, so much more clear. You're going to find this not only in this melody, but in so many pieces that you play on the flute. If you watched my last video on après un rêve, you learned all about bridge breathing. Now that concept is extremely useful in this as well, as often we need to build those bridges to play those long phrases. Listen to the opening. Notice how I used a bridge breath after the high G. And there are so many more in this piece. So be careful and don't fall into any potholes when you're trying to play the phrases, the beautiful long phrases in this piece. Something that is always so important and special to me, it's the harmony that's created by the accompaniment. Now, it is true that we play beautiful flutes, but we play a one-line instrument. So, it's so important that you do not have one-line ears and that you're always listening to the chord progressions and the harmonies that are in the line of the accompaniment. I'm afraid if you only listen to that one line, you're going to miss a lot of the magic that's in the pieces that you play. So, for example, I will play measure 5 for you. Pay particular attention to the 2 B's. Now let's skip down to measure 22. It's going to sound kind of the same. And then later it just does. Now, it's not the same at all if you're actually listening to the harmony underneath it. And to show you that, I'm going to need the help of my piano. So don't go away. I'll play those 2 and listen and see if you hear how magical it is if you don't listen with one-line ears. Here's the first one. That's very nice. Here's the second one. That is a magical chord. It's a magical chord. And although the flute part sounds exactly the same, the magic does lie in the harmony. I think that Schumann might have put that chord in there as it's like his stepping, it's the final step in his dream world before returning to reality. And that one chord alone makes me wish that I had known Robert Schumann personally. You may notice that I don't always play in the register or the octave that Mr. Monroe has written this in. And that's okay, because you can also try these phrases in different registers to see what you like best, as long as your melody remains the same. Before I perform this treasure, I want to again thank Muramatsu and Little Piper for making these Treasure Tuesdays possible. I want to thank all of you for watching. This time that we have spent together from my studio to yours has meant so much to me. And I really hope you continue to grow, to learn, to dream, and to share music as much and as often as possible.